Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Web Dev Special Interest Group. Do we have an agenda for today? Does anybody have things they want to talk about? Concerns? Questions? Web development problems? No? I have a little JavaScript I wrote related to curbside pickup, which I know many libraries are starting to do. So maybe I'll just show that off real quick. That's okay. So I used the notes field that is available on the hold screen. I sort of just took that over so libraries can append a bunch of information to their hold slips about potential curbside pickup holds. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna place a hold, and I get this little screen now, which I have to fill out. And some libraries have added more different or less information than what you see here. Things about where they can go pick it up, what vehicle they may be arriving in. This one's just morning and afternoon, but I've also done it in 15-minute blocks so people can actually pick those. It actually also does check to make sure that there is an item available before this thing pops up. So if all items are checked out, you can't do this little thing. So, and then, like I said, this prints to your hold slip so that the staff can see what's going on and where to take that curbside to. So that's that.
So Lisette kind of shared that yesterday as well. I'm wondering if there's any adjusted strategy for things coming from other libraries. So like what you just showed, the patron is saying, I plan on picking it up in the afternoon of this certain day. But what about items where they don't know when it's going to be available for pickup until we tell them it's available for pickup?
Yeah, that's a tricky part with that because I did the simple check to see if there's anything on loan or not. If anything's checked, if there is a item not checked out. But as far as sort of the rest of the possibilities you have to go through to see if you can actually get that hold, there's a lot that Koha does right there. So it's hard to try to recreate most parts of that with jQuery. So yeah, it's a simple feature that works for some smaller libraries. I think bigger and consortiums, it could be not a helpful feature.
Yeah, I could see it being like, it would have worked for us last month when we were doing local holds, but now that we've fired up the courier again,
Yeah,
not as useful, but I like it.
I don't see how I could make it work for a library system like yours. Too many circ rules and things going on.
Yeah, right now we're using like a third-party like appointment booking system that we send out the link in our notices. I did see someone posted on our Bugzilla that Evergreen added a feature that does it like afterwards, or is in the process of adding a feature. And they were like, hey, maybe Koha wants to do this too. Where it would do it, like let them pick a time after the item is available. I don't think anyone's like taking it up because it's going to be a lot of work to do. And I think people would really like it, yesterday.
Yeah, right. You know any of the details of what it does? Does it, so once an item is available, it notifies the patron and then they schedule a time or something like
Yeah,
that?
I think so. And I think that the Evergreen one is also still like, they said that they're working on it, but don't have it functional yet. Let me see. Curbside pickup. So that's the bug, which is basically just a link to the Evergreen. Expected to be available in June. Patrons can select items in the catalog, place holds, arrange a pickup time, and notify the library on arrival. And there'll be, where, I thought I saw a link to kind of pictures of how it would work, but now I'm not seeing that. I might have done some extra Googling to find that. Let's see. Yeah, now I'm only seeing the, oh no, I think I know where I found it. Let's see. Yeah. Not there. Wait. Yeah, I found it. It looks like on their, let's see. Here's the sponsoring library that just kind of outlines how they're going to be doing it in Evergreen. So like librarian captures the hold, the ILS notifies patrons items are ready for pickup and prompts to select a pickup time. Patrons with phone notifications can have staff set appointments manually. Patron selects pickup time from drop-down menu on dedicated UI linked in email and from my account. For staff, there's another email sent by the system confirming time and providing batch code with link for slot check-in. When the patron arrives in the car, they check in link on like an email to alert the librarian they've arrived, or calls them who arrives them by proxy. Also, one of the things is they have like a batch code, which I know is something kind of similar to what Ed was asking about. Like last month, I think we were talking about it, or in a meeting where you could like batch check out all items that are waiting on hold for that patron instead of having to check out each of them individually. You could just say like, here's the stack. There's 8 books. There's 8 books waiting on hold. Check out all the holds. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah. And we talked about that bug a little bit yesterday at the general meeting, just like, hey, if you're interested in this, go comment on the bug.
Did you feel like there was much interest?
We got like one person or two people who commented. In the meeting, oh yeah, George commented and I had commented already. People seem to think like, yeah, that's a good idea in the meeting. Like I saw people nodding along, like, yeah. But
Yeah, it looks like a pretty big
yeah,
development to implement something like that, but
we'd
it's
probably
a good idea.
yeah.
I would be worried that it can't be implemented fast enough, and then by the time it is, it's would not be necessary anymore.
Yeah. Although we don't know how long, we're gonna need to be doing different things. So, and I think we're gonna keep doing curbside after, just as an option. People really like it, so we'll probably keep having it available. But yeah, I think that probably in Evergreen, it looks like they had a sponsoring library who was willing to just pay for the whole thing
Right.
to
Okay.
get it done.
So on the same sort of topic of our sort of weird new normal workflows in libraries, do we have anything else that would be useful web development wise? Bugs that should be filed or jQuery that could be written to help?
I know you placed some jQuery in our system to make the place hold button instead say check for hold availability.
Right.
Which it turns out we're going to keep on even once things are back open, because it turns out a bunch of the school libraries had always wished it had said that, and until we brought it up, didn't think to bring it up to us. And I've told a couple other libraries. I think someone else in the systems meeting wanted that code on Tuesday.
Were you able to pull it out?
Yeah, yeah. And I do wonder, we do have one thing that I think I reported to you guys, which I guess was, yeah, I probably did, and that's when we got the button, where if they can't place holds because of the transfer, it says place hold, check for hold availability, and then at a point, I don't remember if it's there or when they try actually placing the hold, instead of not placing the hold, or instead of placing the hold or telling them it can't, it just doesn't place the hold and bumps them back to the my account screen.
When they try to place a hold that requires a transfer.
And the transfers are turned off between
Right.
their home branch and that branch. Or in the items branch. Which just is not super helpful. We've had a couple patrons who thought they placed holds and called us, even though it said check for hold availability, and they never got confirmation. We have like one patron in particular who checks his holds very regularly, and yeah, gets mad at us if we put purchase suggestions on hold for him when we come in, and also gets mad if we don't. So he's like, oh, he's got something that he's complaining about, and he called and was like, it didn't place a hold and it didn't tell me I couldn't place a hold, and was pretty upset about that. Well, that's why we have the check for hold availability. But we've also had a couple patrons who thought the hold had placed and then were confused when it didn't ever come in for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it sounds like maybe something as simple as some extra wording or something can help manage expectations there.
yeah, maybe. And some of that was happening before we figured out that we needed to change the button to say place hold availability. We've gotten less complaints since then. But yeah, maybe changing the wording would be good there. Or, because I think it happens when you try to actually go place the hold, like after you can set like the hold date starting in the future or whatever. I think that that's the point at which it does it. So it looks very similar to when you place a hold. Maybe we should change that button where it says place hold to also be check hold availability. So then if it doesn't place, we can at least say that the button said check hold availability. But then that might also confuse patrons. Like, do I have to press more buttons to make the hold stick?
Right.
I notice in our system when you're placing a hold, there is a little button that says confirm hold, but it's also white. Could something perhaps be done with the color of the button to call more attention to the fact that you have to hit that confirm hold?
Yeah, definitely. You could we could easily add some CSS styling to that button and make it stand out much more. Change the color of the background or the color of the text in the foreground. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Heather, if you submit a ticket, I would be glad to do that for you.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the design and get a ticket in, because I think that when we finally do open up again to have research appointments, our users are actually our users use the cart function more, but we're trying to sell everybody on the hold functions too. So calling more attention to the hold buttons, I think, would help. So yeah, thank you.
Anything else curbside related or even just generally web development related? I know in our very first meeting, we talked about several different bugs. I wrote down some of those. I haven't got a time to look at many, but Lisette, I did supply a patch for 25100 to be able to add content to the top of the self-registration form.
Great. I will try to sign that off today. I don't know how I missed that it was put in needs sign off. So, I'll try to get to that today in between meetings. Thank you. I don't remember if this is one of the bugs we talked about or if there's even a bug number, but a very similar bug that does pretty much the same thing but for the purchase suggestions form would be nice.
Okay.
Uh,
That sounds like an easy copy of what I already did. So
Yeah, because what we're talking about doing right now, we haven't actually turned it on yet, but I have a bunch of jQuery in our OPAC that, based on which library you're logged in at, will change some of the text at the top of the page. But it adds a lot of jQuery to be able to do it for each, because each library that wants to actually use the purchase suggestions, the way I have it set up, has to have at least a couple lines of code to make it show up.
with the self-registration one, I put it in the news feature. So what's nice about that is you can identify your library and
Yeah,
pieces of content for each branch.
yeah, and that'll be exactly what we want for the purchase suggestions form too. So
I'll search around a little bit to see if there is a bug. If not, we can file one. It sounds like a pretty easy one to get out there.
yeah. I'd be surprised if I hadn't, just because I've put in a bunch of purchase suggestion ones, but it doesn't look like I have. So, but maybe there's already one out there.
We upgraded last night, and Lucas, you had done some jQuery for us a long time ago where it would show when you're logged in, it would show only the patron's first name rather than the full name.
On the OPAC,
Right.
at the top bar there. Okay.
And right now that's not working, but I don't know if there's a bug yet, but it seems like it would be a nice system preference to be able to say, you know, show the patron's full name or just show the patron's first name. It takes a lot of room to show my particular name because it's very long. And so most sites, it seems like you just generally see, you know, your first name in your login. You don't see your entire name out. So
Yeah. Okay. Can file that bug too. That sounds like something not too hard. Also, if your jQuery is broken, feel free to submit a ticket. I think there might have been some small structural changes to the HTML up there, so
yeah,
could have broke that.
I know somebody recently, I think on the partners listserv, brought up like having the ability to use an address lookup service. So you would be getting the postal address and all the correct information.
Right.
And I'm sure that would be a very big undertaking, but that would be a very nice functionality.
Yeah. I don't know if you've also heard Kyle is working on a plugin right now to be able to take the back of your driver's license, which all of them have a small barcode that has all the information on the front of the driver's license, and scanning that and populating those fields with that information. So
That would be lovely.
way to do sort of address verification.
That would be great on our staff side. One thing we do though is when we're open in a normal situation, all of our patrons go to a computer and use the self-registration form and fill out their own data. And then they come over to the desk and we complete their patron category and, you know, some other stuff and give them additional information. And right now I've got some jQuery in there that I got from Monterey Public, and it formats everything the way we want so that, you know, it's always got a capital for the first letter of your name. And, you know, it takes just 2 letters for the state and things like that. And that works for us, but it would be nice if it wasn't this huge long block of code that usually when I upgrade it, something goes wrong with it and I have to figure out what's the problem.
Right. And although it can break from upgrade to upgrade, using jQuery to sort of control what goes into your forms there works pretty well. You can stop it from putting in like alphabetical characters if it's a phone number. You can even get it to, you know, make the phone number break up the way you want. If you want the there's 3 numbers. Stuff like that. Does anybody else have thoughts, or should we stop the recording now? I guess that's a no. I'll take that as a no. I'll stop it.